So a fair bit ago now I did a video on this old Marvel MMO I played as a kid, and that got me a bit nostalgic for another Marvel game I played all the time when I was only a few years older, although it's not exclusively a Marvel game. Disney Infinity was Disney's hat in the ring to the Toys to Life genre, you know, Skylanders, Lego Dimensions, the ones that your parents hated because it costed them a fortune. And while the genre itself nowadays is pretty much dead and buried, when Disney Infinity shut down in 2016 they rushed out PC Gold editions of each of the game's versions. And since I was nostalgic, in the Marvel mood, and they were on offer, I bought 2.0 and 3.0 and played through both of them. And as I was playing them I decided to make this video, and I played them a bit more, and in this video ballooned scope but is now way out of hand. So to start with some negatives, the gold editions do not have all of each game's content. I can't speak for 1.0 since I didn't buy it before the sale ended and I'm too skint to buy it just to check, but both 2.0 and especially 3.0's gold editions are missing content from the original versions. While there isn't that much missing content from 2.0, just a few characters, 3.0's Gold Edition is missing the entire Marvel playset, 4 Marvel characters, every single Alice in Wonderland character, all the Finding Dory content, and probably more, which is a real shame. The Marvel playsets we did get are the 3 in 2.0, one following the Avengers, one following Spider-Man, and one following the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Avengers playset revolves around a New York attacked by Loki and the Frost Giants. The Spider-Man playset revolves around Spidey and Co. from the Ultimate series having to stop the Green Goblin and Mysterio. And the Guardians of the Galaxy set revolves around the Guardians defending Nowhere from Ronin's attack. And honestly, these are all pretty fun. Spider-Man's game is by far the weakest. It's the one where it feels the most like a drag and you have to go through the motions. It has the most repeated content of any of the playsets and the worst gimmicks. And the best one is by far the Guardians playset. The world feels the most dense probably because it's the smallest, but that makes it really fun to navigate and explore. And the Guardians world feels so much more engaging with its brighter colours and engaging visual design. Although this isn't the cost of it being the shortest one. The Avengers playset sits in the middle. It does get a tiny bit repetitive, but nowhere near as much as Spidey's, and the solid enemy design and the cool twist on the environment with all the ice stuff makes it really fun. Character variety, considering the price of the gold edition, I'd say is pretty good. Is it bullshit you can't use any character in any playset, at least as a New Game Plus thing? Yes, of course it is. But even with that, I'd say, considering the price of the gold edition, 2.0 has enough content. But 3.0, that's where the playsets shine. 3.0 has 4 playsets in its gold edition. Inside Out, which is my least favourite but is still fun. It's this cute little puzzle platformer, but the other 3 are Star Wars playsets. Rise Against the Empire, which is the weakest as it just kind of skims through the original trilogy's best moments in weird, strange ways to be as efficient as possible. The Force Awakens, which skims over that movie's plot a bit better. And then there's Twilight of the Republic, which tells an original Clone Wars story and is easily the best playset, full stop. The Star Wars playsets really show just how far Disney Infinity was getting. Levels are way more detailed than before with more varied locations, missions, tons more side content. This time including side content you'll actually be engaged in doing, gimmicks that are actually pretty enjoyable like the Force Awakens scrap system, which let you build shortcuts into maps and gave the game a really strong sense of progression. The character design of 3.0's combat focused characters is at the top of the game and it's honestly fantastic all around. Lightsaber characters get tons of satisfying combos with really great animation work, and more ranged characters just have really fun, satisfying gunplay. To a point where I wish the AI was slightly better so I could just turn the game into Star Wars 1313. Yeah, remember Star Wars 1313? A lot of my viewers are like 12, so probably not, but god I still miss it. Anyway, even despite the fact the AI isn't perfect, 3.0 still has the best enemy design yet, and it really makes it stand out. Where 2.0 has 3 playsets made cool because of the characters you're playing as being the characters you recognise and enjoy, but would otherwise be really mediocre. 3.0 is worth the price of admission for its playsets, flat out. Tons of side content, fun unlockables like concept art, and some really engaging and fun main content. But where all of Disney Infinity shines, especially 3.0, isn't the stuff the developers made for playsets, although that is very much worth the price of admission. Disney Infinity's brilliance comes from the toy box. Oh, actually, real quick before we get to the next segment, I just have to point out, Disney Infinity has really great cutscenes. Like, really, really great. There's this one shot in the Force Awakens playset that's genuinely phenomenal, but just overall, even if some of the dialogue is rough and the pacing could be bad, the animation is always great. And the gameplay animation stuff is great too, especially once you get to 3.0, it's just phenomenal, and I love the toy art style, I really just love it. So, yeah, where was I? Oh, right, the toy box. Both the 2.0 and 3.0 versions of Disney Infinity have toy box tutorials where you can learn the ropes of the game's creation mode, and after those you're completely set free of what you want to do. You can unlock every single enemy in the game and dozens of dev resources for more complicated things like camera tools or just the building blocks of the environments. You can make fun mini games, enemy grinders, entire games out of this. The only limit is the game's memory, which as long as you don't spam too many NPCs, you won't hit super quickly. This is why this video is being made, because the toy box feels just like its namesake, getting all of your toys out as a kid and having a blast. The incredible IPs at Disney's disposal will make this an insane blast as well. Be Star-Lord, making your way through the Death Star, blasting stormtrooper after stormtrooper as you escape a close call with Darth Vader. Or literally just make Sakaar and do Planet Hulk with every single enemy type possible. Or be a fighter in a dystopian city trying to claw your way out of the dense, suffocating concrete jungles where the sun can't even come through the clouds. Or you could be a Jedi defending Halloween Town from a symbiote onslaught. And this is just the simple stuff I made. The toolkit that's available to you is insane and vast and has so much potential for tower defense game modes, other kinds of objectives, collection games, platformers. There's a lot here. And this is all without mentioning the interior mode, nice pun there, which is this super fun interior design mode using the toy box mechanics to make some super cool and cute living spaces with portraits and decorations. And that's an undeniably fun blast too. Disney Infinity, thanks to its variation of IPs and willingness to give you the entire toy box, is the easiest game to find your own fun in ever. And the fact that the series was cancelled is so sad because the games were always doing a phenomenal job at building on themselves. Playing a 1.0 character with their super limited attacks can honestly feel sluggish to play at times. Compared to a 2.0 character with all their combos, it feels night and day. And by the time you get to 3.0's combat focused characters, the game only feels a little bit away from some of the best beat 'em ups you can get on the market. It's honestly a tragedy we couldn't see the characters, playsets and toy box continue to grow. So yeah, the Disney Infinity 2.0 and 3.0 Gold Editions are worth your money today, especially 3.0, but especially on a sale. Hell, I didn't even mention Toy Box Takeover in 3.0, which is this cool little all characters allowed campaign that's really fun. Or Toy Box Speedway in 3.0, which is just a Mario Kart ripoff, but I mean it's better than nothing. But now, after I've told you everything that exists now, I'm going to go completely off the rails, because I've been thinking about the potential of this IP for months now, and I need to talk to someone about it, because my teacher at my college is really fed up with me telling them about it. So what films came out during the gap that you could incorporate into Disney Infinity 4.0 if it happened in 2018? There's Moana, which I don't think has enough for an entire playset, but we need a Maui figure. Coco, which absolutely could have had a playset made about it and have some figures based on all the characters on the film. At a stretch, Incredibles 2 has some opportunity for new figures, but there is tons of playset potential there if you want to re-release the 1.0 figures alongside it to make it make sense. And you could have absolutely made playsets of both Rogue One and Solo. And if you didn't want to do a full Ragnarok playset despite all the opportunities, then there are infinite opportunities for an Infinity War or Black Panther playset. I mean, just really diving into figures for Disney stuff, you could have Moana, Maui, and maybe the crab from Moana, Miguel, Hector, and Ernesto de la Cruz from Coco. And you could finally do a Frozen figure for Incredibles 2, and if you needed 2 more figures, there's the new Elastigirl suit and Screenslaver, just to name a couple options. And on the Marvel front, you've got tons of options. Killmonger from Black Panther, Thor and Hulk's Ragnarok designs. Valkyrie, Hela, I'd make a big argument for Heimdall, but that's just because I love Idris Elba so much. Cap with the Wakanda shields, Iron Man Mark 50, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Winter Soldier. Thanos and more at least, but the entirety of the children of Thanos have figure potential. Loki without the helmet and Blonde Nat could also work if you want me to stretch, but I think I've proven that I just don't need to. And for Star Wars, you could do the entire Rogue One crew, aside from probably Brody, since I could see that not selling well. And for Solo, you could do young Han, young Lando, Kira, and I definitely think that Beckett deserves a figure, but you might argue against me on that one. And since Last Jedi came out, you could get figures out of that, helmetless Kylo, wearing a new outfit, maybe even Rose and DJ, but you gotta give Hux a figure. But I know what you're thinking with that whole hypothetical, but Toys to Life games are shit, and you're right, they are, so completely unpopular could give you my perfect way to make a Toys to Life game not drain your money. Because honestly, I think if it didn't have all of the money issues, they'd be much more well received in well-remembered games. So my solution is, you make it a live service. No, wait, don't click off. I actually think this could work. I'm not talking about a grubby steal your money, drain each penny for each costume like blood from a stone kind of live service. Just hear me out, okay? The only big difference here compared to the original Disney Infinity is that instead of you buying figures, you're buying DLC, which I know doesn't sound like a huge difference, but this could completely change how you interact with the game and also save you a fuck ton of money. So you're buying a starter set, which would hypothetically come with a set of characters and one playset. Or, like in 3.0, some kind of built-in, all characters included campaign that will be in the game as a base for everyone. In a dream world, I like to say that all content in previous versions would be free in the latest version, but this is Disney and this idea is already insane enough, so I really doubt that. Then, when new playsets are released, or old ones too if you were to put them behind a paywall, the playset and the characters for the playset can be bought individually, which is overall the worst deal, or you could buy the playset of every single character included as DLC for a set price. And the price will be relevant to the amount of content, so I'd say the Inside Out one should only be worth about 10-15 bucks, and then the Star Wars one should go for 20-25. If they were to add more characters and do a lot more content and continue building, I could see them going for 30. Is that still a bit pricey? Yeah, but there's access to those characters in the playsets and the toy box, all of the other bonuses that come from playsets in the toy box. And depending on the playset, this is like 6 characters, which makes this tons cheaper than the original physical releases. Now, from a business perspective, this means you can commit development time to content that might not do as well, because you're not going to have all the costs of the physical figures, and this is all DLC. Since I'm almost certain that would have been a big thing in why they cancelled 4.0. If you can't guarantee the figures will sell, there isn't really much point in making them. And I'd be really surprised if all the Alice in Wonderland figures made their money back, or if all the Ant-Man figures made their money back. You don't lose as much money this way since you're not making physical figures, it's all digital content. And I think from a business model perspective, even though I have no experience in business, that's a deal that works better for both consumer and publisher. Some additional bonuses with this are you can update the game constantly so new playsets are always compatible, no needing a new version after 2 or 3 years. Which seems like a reason they'd lose a lot of money, but another thing that would bring a ton of money towards the game would be that you can create a community that will stick with it. Bring back uploaded toy boxes online and people will love it. I mean, just look at Mario Maker if you don't believe me. And the game can really be a live service that's as fun as its own as it would be with friends, because your enjoyment of the game isn't strictly hinging on online connectivity. This video proves that Disney Infinity has a lot of merit even with no online connectivity. So yeah, there's my hypothetical. I'm not a businessman, so I don't know all the obvious flaws, but I honestly think that could work pretty well. So yeah, cheers for joining me down nostalgia lane. See you in 2 weeks for, well, definitely something. I don't know the order of videos are coming out yet, but something good, I assure you. Toodles.